Hey, 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 hello, hello, hello. How are you? How are you? How are you, darling? I am Big Meach, and this is a Big Meach moment, okay? I'm trying something a little new here. They done gave us background music on this program, honey, and it's new. So y'all let me know if y'all can hear this, if this is a distraction, okay? Um, I'm not going to be before you long, honey, because we got to get ready for the donut factory. However, I've been perplexed with what's been going on in the news lately, okay? Particularly um, the whole Cardi B verdict, okay? And the reason why I'm perplexed about this is because here I am, someone who um, basically have a commentation show. You know, we're pop culture commentators and things of that nature. I don't necessarily consider myself to be a gossip columnist or blogger or anything like that because I don't believe in selling the salaciousness. Okay, there's a number of things that we do, but over here at Dishing Tea, we do not condone a lot of the salaciousness. I don't do a lot of the housewife stuff and all that kind of jazz that get all of this, that, and the other. For the clicks and this, that, and the other. Yes, this is a slow process. I'm building my numbers and trying to get these numbers up, but I just feel as though for my platform, in order for me to be my authentic self and to give people what I believe they want to hear. And those who want to hear it will follow me. My audiences I will attract my audience. Those who, I always say that it's time for the grown and sexy to become the seasoned and sophisticated. And so that's what my brand is all about. Dishing Tea is more than just trying to sit there and get the latest dirt or the scoop or whatever the case may be. But it's a lifestyle brand is what we're attempting to bring to you. And this whole thing with Tasha K and Cardi B, it brought me pause and it brought me uh it has me question. I'm in the quandary a little bit because of everything is. Now, if you have not heard by now, uh, Cardi B had gone to court and basically had sued Tasha K for, I believe it was liable or I'm going to say liable and slant. Well, I'm going to say liable because you talked in slanders when you write it. But basically saying, some salacious stuff and basically a lot of untruths. Okay, and Cardi won. She won a $4 million judgment. Okay, on top of another $250,000 for I think court fees or whatever, and then the medical fees and this, that, and the other. Okay, um, I just finished listening to Tasha K's statement about all of this. Okay, and I'm kind of glad that I waited until now because she just posted a statement concerning the verdict maybe just under an hour ago. Okay. And what pissed me off about all of this is her reasoning. Okay. And basically in all of the fluff and all of the it's a 12-minute long apology or statement, rather. It's not an apology, it's a statement. Because she doesn't apologize. What she says in this is that basically, honey, this is what the nature of the thing is. My platform is set up, new age digital media, okay, as she calls it. And my platform is set up to report on these kinds of things. And it is said that in the documents and things that she went public on the stand and said that yes, some of the things that she said was untruth or whatever, but that's what her listeners want. She said that to try to pull out and this, that, and the other, get folks to come on up in and whatever the case may be. But here's my question. Why is it that we as a country, as a world, rely on the salaciousness of everything to sell? You know what I mean? Remember back in the day, before we had all of the social media and things, we had the National Enquirer, right? the Inquirer, the Sun, and those kind of publications. And every time you turned around, honey, it was always something ridiculous in those particular papers. But they would not have been in existence if people were not buying that shit, right? And yes, it's entertaining. Yes, it's a lot of buffoonery and carrying on or whatever. And folks knew that. Okay. They knew that. So the question becomes, why do they still buy it? Why did they waste their time to go into that? And the obvious reason is because they wanted to. They wanted something to say. They wanted something to talk about. They wanted, you know, just to get into the whole idea of it. Well, now that we're here, you know, the whole idea of a platform, of everybody having a platform and everybody having a, they can create their own chat shows or whatever. The thing of it is now this shit goes out immediately. It is staying within the ethers or within the clouds, if you will. And this stuff gets out there so quickly to where people nowadays do not watch news programs anymore. Our young people don't even watch the news like that. They get all of their important information from commentation shows such as this. I mean, hell, let's look at the news itself. A lot of the news reporters now are giving commentary in their news reports. They don't just report the news. A lot of them give commentary. A lot of the so-called legitimate news outlets, Fox and MSNBC and CNN and all these, ABC even, all of them have created shows to where they're not even news programs. They're all commentating on what a lot of people have opinions about what's going on in the news, and rather than call it, okay, we're just going to have a roundtable discussion, a lot of folks go to these particular outlets and feel as though they could get all their government information, how to vote, how to this, how to that. Look at how we're following about all this COVID information. Dr. Fauci is on everything. Now, he's the authority. You get the authority report, and then you go to the other programs, and then everybody want to add in their opinion about what he said and what he didn't say and what he should have said and blah, 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 blah. And then the public starts to believe the commentary versus believing the actual news. We just went through 4 years of Agent Orange sitting up there calling that fake news. Okay. And now that particular coin or that adage has now been inoculated into the vernacular of English language to where fake news is now, it's common now. And so shows like mine and everybody else's we are commentators, we now have to make sure, well, no, let me take that back. Not now have to make sure. What I have always been wanting to do is to make sure that the information that comes across Dishing Tea with Big Meach or Dishing Tea Entertainment, my co-hosts, when they do stuff on Atlanta Hot Radio or Let's Talk Without Nikki, we want to make sure that what we're giving you is factual. Okay. So much so to where even Facebook had taken down one of my videos and told me that I was giving misinformation on COVID-19. I said, did you look at the information? If you looked at the damn show, you would have seen that I read to you the information that they said. We had documentation that came from the CDC. I'm reading from the CDC website, and then I added my commentary on it because I was like, okay, this is what you said, but this is how I feel. Okay. They removed that video and said that it was in violation. Was it Facebook or was it YouTube? No, it was YouTube actually, because I have a violation warning now. Okay. And I was like, wait a minute, did you really look at that? Okay, now y'all quick to do that with me. But we have so many platforms out here to where folks are sitting up there reporting it. Remember when The Onion and all those satirical news things came out, and they would put stuff up there and it would go out immediately, and then everybody started sharing it because we thought it was real news. And then when you read it and it got to the bottom, and in real small print, it would say, this is satirical. It is meant for entertainment purposes only. It is not, but that's a real tiny, maybe 8 a 0.8 font size or whatever, maybe a 0.6, because you really couldn't read it, right? So that there is where we are. I'm perplexed because see now as a business, what this has me on point with, and I should have been on top of this a long time ago, but I'm learning. See, just like with everything else, you know, I'm sure Tasha K at $4 million that's going on to her insurance because with the type of show that she has insurance for the show to where if folks come after her, she's able to pay that off and then it goes against their insurance. You know what I'm saying? So now it has me looking at this and where I have to now protect my brand because we can't have folks coming after us like that, on that particular realm. And then it begs for me to ask the question, why isn't it apropos for folks to check their facts? You know, we, the way that my sister Miss T.S. Madison does it when she does her program in the carrying on, she gotta talk about she throw allegedly in a minute, allegedly, as to say that no, this is something that we heard. We're not saying that this is factual. We don't have the proof to say this, that, and the other. This here is what's going on in the streets. You know, um, uh, that there is something that we have to look at, but we have to go in trying to protect ourselves. So I'm going after all of us who are content creators, if you will. Okay, this verdict, what does this mean for you? And if you say it means nothing because I'm not that kind of show, then you're the damn fool. Okay, because what is happening is at one point in time, when all this came about, there was no realm. Remember when they were saying that it was hard to govern what's going on in the ethers because it was on the World Wide Web and it was hard to this, that, and the other. Where now they're building spaces and they're creating avenues to where we can now get shaped and things, and we could put cyber laws into place and saying what can and cannot happen, how you can protect yourself. So this now it becomes devastating to all of us because we don't know who's watching what. Okay. All of us have followers and carrying on. We're international because it's World Wide Web. So we don't know who's saying what, who's screenshotting, who's sitting up there saving it to take it to send to somebody else, because we know we do that all the time. That's how shit get out. Those little memes and carrying on that we love passing around. It came from somewhere. Somebody started it and then embellished it and then sent it out. Okay. I've had a number of my pictures go out like that. And yes, I put up pictures of me. They were salacious pictures, but at the time I was going through it was a self-esteem issue for me. So I put it out there so that I can learn how to love the body that I'm in. And a lot of folks didn't know the backstory of that. They just saw a big fat man holding his titties and shit or whatever, and with champagne bottles in front of his crotch. And they went out and thought that because I was an old ass man or too big to be doing some shit like they didn't understand the implication behind it. And I didn't need them to, because that was for my liberation. And I was the one who put it out there. But it hit, and then it went viral, and it went into all these other different categories and things. And if I had not had thicker skin at that time, honey, I'd have been a horrible wreck. Because when I tell you them bitches laid me across the coals, I mean it. But that there were just pictures that I put out there. Now imagine if someone took those pictures and then put lies and stuff on top of it. Imagine that. And now here we have commentators and those who love to make their money off of being messy. Wendy Williams, honey, she's the queen of mess. That her brand is being messy. Okay. Before she came into television, that's what she did on the radio. That's what all that was. How you doing? That there was when she was cocking somebody's tea. For those of y'all who don't know where that comes from, back in her radio days, when she would sit up there and tell her, how you doing? How you doing? That was her way of of saying to the audience that she was cocking the dude's tea and basically saying that he was a queen or gay or whatever. Okay. So now it has become her catchphrase, on the TV show as if it was all cutesy. But no, that had an implication that almost got her ass whooped on a few occasions. Okay. So now I'm coming to you and I'm asking, what does this mean for us as content creators? Okay. Y'all know that I'm still trying to find a way to find out about these damn licenses and carrying on, because have you noticed when you play music and things, to sit up there and say, oh, I don't own the rights to this music, that doesn't work. That does not work. That does not work. Even sitting up there saying that under the Fair Use Act, as a commentator or somebody who's reporting it or whatever, or making, we're doing reviews about it and carrying on under the Fair Use Act, we supposed to be able to do that. But now, because everything is cyber and digital, a lot of piracy is going on. So a lot of the music companies themselves will ban you, will block it. Sony is constantly tearing some shit down the mine. They put in a block, and they were blocking the 248 countries and carrying on simply because they said, I don't have a license. And I will call them like, well, no, Facebook has the license. YouTube has the license. So I'm like, okay, well, they have a license. But then how do I protect myself? And this, that, and the other. So that there is something that we have to look into. And looking at this case with TASHA K, and she said in her statement, honey, she's coming back on the air Friday. She's taking a couple of days. She got a reboot, but she's going to be back up and running Friday. Okay. So now what does that mean? What does that mean for all of us? What does that mean for the children? What does that mean for those of us who are in this particular business, having to protect the brand? What are the next steps? So that's going to be our homework assignment, children. We've got to find out, how do we protect our brands, especially when we're at the point where we're still trying to make kind of money. I don't make any money off of this stuff yet because my numbers are not up there, honey. I'm trying to get my numbers to say X, Y, and Z. I keep telling y'all, go on to YouTube and this, that, and that to get my numbers up. I just got little over 1,000 folks watching me and carrying on a consistent basis. I don't have the millions and carrying on. But like I said, I don't do what a TASHA K or folks in that particular realm would do. I don't bring you salaciousness like that. I get heated, I cuss like a sailor and carrying on, but I don't bring you sensationalism like that, and I'm not bringing salaciousness. So it may not attract those who they say, oh, child, okay, oh, that bitch is like, I'm not sitting there trying to play the reading game and do all of those sissy shit that a lot of the children like to do. We're not going to do all that. Okay, we're not going to do all that because my integrity says that I don't need that to sit down there to make $1 or $2, honey. I'll go to work, honey. I'll flip a burger if necessary, child. But it doesn't take all of that for me. Okay. Now, those of y'all who sit up there and say that this is your avenue and you doing it because the people want it, I can't fuck with you for that, because guess what? You would not have a channel if folks wasn't watching you. So the question becomes, who's at fault? Is it you, the content creator, or is it the people who follow you? Because the crazier you get, the more folks follow you. The more clicks you got or title that you got for clickbait, the more folks will follow you and carrying on. And the more folks will say, because now they're waiting on the next thing that you're going to say. They're waiting to see what's the next read going to be. Okay, or what sound effect you gonna give, or what facial expression you gonna give and carry it on, because everybody is into this whole thing. So whatever your shtick is the tea. So now, and then you turned it into a brand, which is fabulous. I can't hate your hustle. I'm not hating on your hustle. The question becomes now, how do you protect it? Because something like this has just changed the entire game. This has just changed the entire game, because this is unprecedented. This is the first time we've had a blogger of this magnitude, and then they lost and got to pay $4 million. And all she had to say is, oh, well, it's the machine, because it's not about the money, honey. They've been trying to shut me down and this, that, and the other. And basically, she's taken the approach that I've heard Howard Stern take, the shock jock Howard Stern, when he was saying all the most fucked up shits. Okay. And then, he had the machine behind him, because that's how he became famous. He, did what he was going to do. And the folks hired him because they knew what they were getting. Okay. They knew. Remember Morton Downey Jr.? If y'all remember Morton Downey Jr., I call him the granddaddy of the Salacious Talk Show, when he would go up and holler in folks' faces, and, shut up, zip it, you're making no sense, you're stupid, you're a fuckface, whatever, and then we'll go to commercial. And in the beginning, when that first came out, it was like, oh my God, we've never seen nothing like that before. Because before him, there was nobody before him. Then after him came when Jerry Springer started doing all this fighting and shit on the show. And everybody thought that their claim to fame now was to have this fighting and this do-I-diddy and then. Yeah. And so it started this progression. Now we on reality television, and everybody think that you can flip a table and throw a drink in somebody's face and holler and carry on and get loud and tear up somebody's bar and all of that, So now the question becomes, what do we do? How do we protect ourselves? How do we navigate through these waters? Because the game has changed, and it has changed forever. So now what you gonna do about it? Huh? What are you going to do about it? I know for me, we got some research to do. I'm going to get with my team, and we got to find out how to get some of this damn insurance up in here, because I know we don't bring that kind of information here. But as sensitive as everybody is, I just need to protect my own self, because right now a bitch ain't got $4 million just to pay out and say, oh, it's gonna hurt, but we good, I'm not worried about it. That's a lie. Okay. That's a lie from the pit of hell, honey, from the west side of hell. Okay. So we need to protect ourselves. And then moving forward, what are we going to do to better our brands? If your brand is completely built on salaciousness, what are you going to do when this gets old? Huh? Let's take Funky Dineva, and I'm gonna close with this, because Funky Dineva, she built her brand, reviewing all of the housewives and all of the reality TV shows. And Funky Dineva just said, she said, "Child, I've been doing it for 11 years, and now it got boring. I'm tired." And the trajectory of Dineva show has changed. It's more so going into self-help, analyzing, critical thinking, and this, that, and the other. Okay. So what is that? Okay, what you say? Leave journalism. What you say? Leave journalism to Sinclair Broadcasting. You know what? Perhaps that's something we need to do. Perhaps we need to take a journalism course so that we know what the hell that we're doing. Because a lot of times we get up here, some of these people, they create low content and carry on, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Which is why certain people like you're trying to build your brand and trying to come on certain networks or whatever, they won't take your show because the platform itself has been damaged. I started off on Blog Talk Radio, but there's so much foolishness on Blog Talk to where there's certain people I was trying to go after to say, come on my show, and I wasn't big enough. See, I wasn't the ABCs and the NBCs and carrying on. I'm Blog Talk Radio, and okay, well, and it became, you hold your nose up at me and shit. Okay, I was told by an Oscar winner's husband, honey, that okay, yeah, we knew we wasn't calling it to a major show, so we did this to try to help you out. I'm like, bitch, no, you ain't helping me. I existed 8 years before you came into the radar for me. I came to y'all because I wanted you. I didn't need you. Honey. I wanted you, And so that there is that, and looking at all of this. So that there's my Big Meach moment for now. I see we got comments up in here. Let me go up in here, acknowledge the comments and things. Okay, Road. Hey, Road. Hey, Avery, how you doing? Okay, we love you, Big Meach. We love dishing the tea. Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. Hey, Amy. And Chris is up in here. Okay. Interesting times online for real. Yeah, they are interesting, honey. Yep, I love the Onion. It's good for laughs. I never considered it to be real news because you got sense. You had sense to know that it was for laughs and carrying on, but a lot of folks didn't. A lot of folks said up there, we got into arguments over shit like that, about what they were saying. Insure for $4 million. I don't know. I'm not, well, I know I never sat through a whole thing of Tasha K's stuff because I don't necessarily care for her. Okay. It became too much for me, But I know she always said, we have insurance and carrying on. Every time she said, oh, we got receipts. and we got receipts to carry on. I could back up everything, and I got my insurance and stuff. She always said that, so I'm sure whatever that is, she has it. Okay, devastation potentially. Okay, liberation. You better understand. Promotion is double edged, but we shall see how this affects content creators completely. Okay, bullseye. Okay, fancy. Right. Okay, yes, Geraldo, old tabloid TV. Exactly. Okay, yeah, that was the first one that I put up there. Okay, I stand by the little shows, genuine in my opinion. Yeah, most of the time they are, and you're right. And because and they're not given a chance oftentimes because they're considered the little shows. You know what I'm saying? And folks like me who are trying to build a brand or whatever, and once I send out send out shows and stuff for celebrities that I'm trying to hit or whatever. Listen, just check me out and you see what I'm about. Once they get into it, then it's like, oh, okay, you're not what we thought. I'm like, okay, but see, you came in prejudiced or whatever because you thought this was just a little do-wah-diddy. And no, hell, I try to tell everybody, with Blog Talk Radio, Travis Smiley went over to Blog Talk Radio and created his own network. Because at the time they would let you do that, to where you built a network and it was you, and then you had other folks up under you. He had Rolanda Watts and carrying on up under him when she went into radio, up under his brand, up under his network on Blog Talk. So it wasn't like, but because he already had a name, people were willing to come on and be with him or whatever. But the platform itself, it wasn't little. So yeah, okay. And what we got, mainstream is not the T, in my opinion. Mainstream is mainstream, honey, and mainstream is cookie cutter. Mainstream wants a certain look, a certain this, a certain that. So that's why mainstream is mainstream. Look at your news stations. When you look at Good Morning America, when you look at the Today Show, when you look at CBS This Morning, look at that national platform. Everybody has almost the same look. Almost, it's that standard structure, but that's because it's cookie cutter and what they're trying to sell and be 100% business and blah, 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 blah. It is there. And it becomes a machine. It becomes a regiment, And so oftentimes, if you don't fit the regiment, you won't make it. And so it takes the underground and the grassroots and this, that, and the other, the quote unquote little shows in order to get out there. You see a lot of folks, create content when they say, okay, we're going to tell you what they ain't going to tell you. And they would back it up with facts. They'd come up with CDC stuff. Okay. And then they would challenge you and say, listen, don't take my word for it. This is what this is. Go look for it. Okay. Do your research, do your homework. And this here is what I'm going to challenge all of our content creators. Don't just put salaciousness out there just to put it out there. Do your homework, do your research, okay? Fact check, okay? If one person is saying it here and nobody else is saying it anywhere, and this is supposed to be mainstream, or unless you have an exclusive, the people came directly to you and said, I'm going to give you the exclusive, okay? Because it's about to drop, but I'm going to give it to you first, okay? Anytime you don't have that, that means that, hell, you got to fact check everything, and you got to go around and make sure that what you're giving is not going to jeopardize you or put you in trouble. Okay? The game has changed, children. The game has changed. So now it's up to us to make sure that we change it with it. And then let's not be cocky about it either. Because for me, listen to Tasha K's statement, it's a little cocky to me. Okay, it's a little cocky to me. And it's like, Miss Thing, you did what you did. And now you're trying to say that, oh, the system is what made me do it. The system is promoting this kind of lifestyle on us. And the system is this and the system is that. And I'm just reporting what the system is doing. Bitch, no. You fucked up. Say I fucked up. And then let's do it differently. Let's do it differently. So I'm charging all of us, honey. Do your shit, do your homework, and make sure, honey, that you doing your thing, honey, don't come and bite you in the ass later. You understand? Honey, on that note, honey, I'm Big Meach. This is a Big Meach moment, honey. We'll see you guys again soon. Ciao.